Hey, good morning, Carter. This is a demo video for you for two sabers of yours I've got. First, we've got the Corbanth Starkiller that we'll go over second just because it's the first one I picked up. And then finally, we've got, this is the Ronin saber by the Pox Store or Ultimate Works. I think they're both kind of the same thing. So we'll go over this one first. It's going to be a lot of talking. So this one came, you had taken out the lower core from them, but it had the upper piece left in it. So it had like their proprietary connection system and their LED or their pixel connector. So what I had to do is I took this entire thing apart, every screw, everything, so that I could take the handle off. It's like a clamshell. So I took the handle off so I could get that out. Made up my own chassis. And that's what we'll go over. Okay, still retain the 2-button setup. So top switch will be your power. Your back switch will be your auxiliary. You had specifically said this would be for dueling, so you wanted to have a deep blade depth. I kept that for you. If I could grab my calipers here, I could tell you about how deep that is. About 2¼ inches of blade depth. So that's plenty of blade depth to hold a blade. How to get to the chassis, you just want to take this pommel, turn it clockwise, and pop it out. This is a very cool system for a pommel. It's very easy access, and I'll show you. There is a certain way to put it on though, and I'll show you how to do that here in a second. But once you take that off, you'll see your chassis there. Just go like that, and it'll slide right out into your hand. You got a Proffies board right here. You specifically asked for a kill switch, so you got a kill switch right in front of the board. Easy access though to your SD card and your micro USB. I got all of your fonts on both of these sabers that you wanted. A removable battery setup here. I chose to use a fully enclosed 22mm Smuggler's Outpost Nano Elite speaker, so that's what's in there. It sounds really good. And there's a copy of the config file on your SD card. This is using the Smuggler's Outpost Switch Pixel PCB set, which is pretty typical of any chassis that I do that's removable. You may be able to see that 14-pin PCB in there. All right, so that stays in there, that doesn't come out. That is what I mounted in there when I had the saber completely apart. All right, and then I put a small dragon here on the back side of the chassis. I just thought it was a cool addition and it matched the Ronin theme. All right, so we'll throw a battery in this guy. There it is. Spring side over here. I do typically take the stickers off my batteries. You don't have to do it on this particular one. But it's just generally something that I do. All right, so we'll pop that battery in, come over here and flip our kill switch.
My ally is the Force.
When you put that in, just go ahead. You can put the chassis in any way you like, as long as, of course, this side goes in first. All right, and it should slide right in for you. Now, when putting the pommel on, you'll notice on the back, if you can see, on the bottom corner here, there's that little divot. All right, so although you can put the pommel on either way, that divot is really designed for that little ball bearing right here. So that helps the pommel stay in. All right, so if you can, try to line that up right. All right, put that in, lock it in. It helps this stay in place so that once the pommel is on, it pushes the chassis forward into those pins, and then you can come over here and hit power, which is the top. Auxiliary down here. And I gave you twist off. Now on this emitter piece, it does unscrew. The top black piece unscrews, and then you can screw it back. Probably so that you can get to all 3 of your blade retention screws that you have equally spaced. Although when the saber came to me, it only had 2. So there's 2 actual grub screws in here, and there's a hole missing for one of them. All right, but I'm only going to use one. I'm going to use a mid-size test blade this morning just to give you an idea of the blade depth. So when we put this blade in, you know, and I put my thumb here where it stops and pull it out, that's all the blade depth you've got. So that's quite a bit, and it should be good for any kind of dueling. All right, but we'll go ahead and we'll push that down. Just going to lock down one of these blade retention screws for the demo. Depending on how hard you want to duel this guy, you might want to lock down both or maybe all three. All right, but once we get that blade in, we come over here and hit power. Good clash on clash. Go to another one.
Ahsoka Tano! Bo-Katan sent me.
Good two-handed as well. A couple different companies have made their rendition of this Ronin saber. This is the only one that I've held in person, and I really like it. I really like it. It's sleek enough for what it is. It looks pretty accurate to the Vision series, and it's a very nice saber.
Kenobi.
Every one of your sound fonts has a soundtrack, so it's just a long press on the power when the saber's off. And another long press to turn it off.
Master Windu. What could you give me? Everything.
And your last one. Now, of course, you get blaster bolt deflex by just tapping auxiliary, right? If you want blade lock up, hold down auxiliary and hit the saber. Here. Here. Tell the difference. Just like that. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll take the blade out of this guy, and then I will go ahead and take the battery out of it, although you can just use your kill switch. In fact, we'll turn it on now, and then take the chassis out. Now you can hear that it's on until we flip the switch, and it kills everything just like it should. All right, so we'll come over here and take this out with our finger from the positive side, which is by the speaker, and then just slide it back in just like that. All right, put this on and then slide it over here for safekeeping. I want to make sure I get that ball bearing lined up just like that. So that is your Ronin saber. We'll put that off to the side. And then we have your Starkiller from Corbanth. This is the V3. So what I did was install this with a Proffies. Also, you asked for some light weathering. This one is a bit of a strange saber to weather because it's not just something you can go to town on. It has a coating that comes on it. So before any weathering takes place, the coating has to be stripped down. I usually do that with some easy off oven spray. And that's what I did in this case as well. So strip this completely down, did some weathering to it. Put it back together. I did not glue your rods in. These are made so that you can swap out the silver ones if you want to. All right, they're in there nice and tough, but if you tried hard enough, you could come in here and pull these out and slip them down, and then you could swap them out. So for that reason, I didn't glue these in. I just kind of press fitted them in. If you wanted to glue those in because you wanted to stay with those rods, that's pretty easy to do. I did put a real quartz crystal in there. I like using these particular crystals. They're double pointed, although obviously you don't see the point on the other side, but they have some very nice shine through. They're perfect size to match up to the chamber rod. It comes down right on the point and locks everything down nice and tight, and it just looks tidy in my opinion. All right, and both of these sabers are running Carl Chen PCBs. 2-button setup on this guy too. So your front switch, that's your power, your back is your auxiliary, and then how to get to your chassis is you just want to unscrew the handle. One thing on this saber, the chassis and handle fitment is super tight. So the more you use it, the more kind of worn in it will get, but it is tight. All right. I did have to go in. I noticed that these little square cutouts, you have 2 here and you have 2 here. I didn't notice it before when I was originally installing this guy, but they had some little bit of swarf or something sticking into the handle. I went through and filed that down so it didn't scratch the chassis and stuff like that. But it is a tight fit. You have a fully enclosed 28mm Smuggler's Outpost Elite speaker. You also have a removable battery on this guy, and then of course your Proffies. And you ask for a kill switch on this one too. So your kill switch is located right here. All right, so easy access also again to your SD card, micro USB. You can do anything to either one of these boards and never have to move the board. All right, so we'll go ahead and throw a battery in this guy too. Come over here and flip the kill switch. And you see I got your crystal pulsing. When you're putting the handle on, just go nice and slow because it is tight, but it goes on, no problem. Go ahead and lock all this down until it stops, just like that. So one of your black grips will be lined up with your control box. I do have your crystal on a timer. So, if we don't turn the saber on right away, it will time out.
I'm ready.
You're running, this is the Kyberphonic Secret Apprentice, so the light and dark side. This is the light side. We'll go ahead and we'll throw a blade in this guy too. So your blade retention on this guy will be the front screw in between your bunny ears. All right, 2 screws there holding your bunny ears on. It's the one right next to my pinky. That one is the one that's a little bit longer than the other guy, and it's used for blade retention. I just gotta find the Allen key. Your kit comes with an Allen key, and that's specifically what it's for. I'm gonna throw a TriStar blade in this one just because it's a little bit easier to swing around. This also takes a 1-inch diameter Neopixel blade. So one blade will be good for both of your sabers. Tighten this guy down. Good to go. Your pulsing red there. Get that to focus for you. Crystal lights up very well.
You are helpless. You are nothing.
This is the dark side version. And we'll turn it off just like that, take the blade out. And this is doing what it should do as well. And then Obviously, you don't have to take the battery out of this guy either. You can just use your kill switch. All right, so get the handle off and turn this guy on real quick, and then you can see that the kill switch is doing what it's supposed to do as well. So we'll turn this on. Come over here and flip our switch right here, and it kills power just like it should. All right, and that is basically your Starkiller and your Ronin. Let me know if you have any questions, and if not, I will try my best to get these out in the mail to you today. I know that you're going out of town soon, so I tried to get these done for you as quickly as I possibly could so that you could have them before you left. Let me know if you got any questions. All right, thanks, man.